G'day guys, Tor here from Pro Stock Tips. Now I'm looking at Novavax stock as it has recently taken a lot of damage, and by that I mean a hell of a lot of damage, having dropped from $235 or so on the European approval all the way back down to just below $100. Could potentially see more downside to $80 perhaps. However, I certainly think that this could be a great buying opportunity, having come down so fast. You could see a really large corrective bounce here, and I think that the catalysts are there. So obviously you've got multiple approvals coming up from various countries, say TGA for Australia, and ultimately you're wanting to see the FDA emergency use approval, which should come out within a few weeks, I would expect. Now, on approval of the of Novavax's COVID vaccine by the FDA for emergency use, I think you could see a large spike, like overnight. You could see a big jump on that FDA approval, as that's pretty significant news for Novavax. Then potentially it's going to keep climbing, or it's going to stabilize, or it's going to crash back down. I would certainly be taking some money off the table, when the FDA approval comes out. So what I am planning to do is on my Etoro account, where you can also create an Etoro account, copy my trades even, right? I'm planning to open up a position at around this level and trade the bounces, which I've been doing. And I expect, the positive news flow to come in eventually and hopefully resume an uptrend, and also the large, pop I'm expecting on the FDA approval. Right? So why has it taken so much damage recently? Well, in the past few days, for example, we've seen that the Pfizer COVID vaccine, the Israelis have tested it, and obviously the fourth dose hasn't shown much additional benefit in preventing Omicron, so you can still get Omicron if you've had a fourth booster of the Pfizer vaccine. You can still develop an infection, although of course it's going to be like mild and not very symptomatic, right? But it's still possible to, get an infection of COVID even after the fourth dose. However, what I would say is this is not necessarily bad news for Novavax. Their vaccine hasn't been tested, against Omicron specifically, I don't think, at this stage. So how do you know that the Novavax isn't more effective, against Omicron variant? So in that case, you would see Novavax capture a large market share. Now, also Novavax, once it is approved, is also going to capture a significant market share, as there's a lot of people that are looking for the protein-based vaccine, so the conventional therapy. A lot of people, foolishly don't trust the mRNA technology, which I can confirm, is safe and effective, and there's certainly nothing to be afraid from there. I'm sweating, but that's just due to the heat, right? This is Australia, it's a 40-degree day here, 40 degrees Celsius, so it's pretty hot. Now, obviously the Novavax vaccine should be able to take a significant market share. It's got lots of off-takes and customers lined up across the globe, so they can certainly make a lot of money out of this. The money could be a bit further down the track from the approval. You might have to wait 1 or 2 quarters, right? But certainly that sort of pop on the FDA approval, then maybe it'll pull back down and then start to grow up again as we see positive earnings come in over 1 or 2 quarters. Maybe it'll even reach $300, right? So obviously I'll keep you updated in a later year, maybe 1 or 2 quarters time, on when you should get out. However, I'm focusing on this current, approval trade. I think it's been oversold on these bad news announcements, which are potentially positive for Novavax even. Also, there's the Moderna announcement, which was regarding their combination flu vaccine, COVID, flu, RSV, vaccine, potentially sometime in 2023 even. I don't think this is that bad of an announcement for Novavax. I think what we want to see is their potential with the COVID vaccine first before worrying about nano flu and all the rest of it, because that's their big winner, is the COVID vaccine at this stage. And potentially they might create a combination with their nano flu COVID vaccine. Obviously we've seen that the nano flu has quite good efficacy, even compared to Sanofi. So certainly it might even have advantages over the Moderna combination vaccine. So I wouldn't be too stressed about that announcement at all. So I think that was just a reason for short sellers to short sell and people to get out, fearing that it was going to crash further, etc., etc. However, I think this is just leading it to being oversold due for a corrective bounce, provided the stock market stays positive, right? We don't want to see a big stock market crash. We don't want to see the Nasdaq, fall apart. However, I think that, the stock market can hold up. I think there's going to be a lot of buying the dip happening here. There's not too much bad news catalysts. I think there's good news catalysts, right? COVID is heading off. We've got vaccines for it. Eventually, it's just going to become part of life, right? The economy's going to reopen. Everyone will be fully vaccinated, etc. We'll probably see variation-specific boosters. So that's probably a benefit as well for Novavax. You could see a huge revenue stream from new boosters of specific variants, generating long-term revenue for Novavax. It's a bit early to say at this stage, but see, there's a lot of potential here for Novavax, and that's my rationale for opening a position and trading Novavax. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.